Hello and welcome to my new YouTube channel. I'm Dugout Man, and I'd like to introduce you to my what's going to be my new save, but also I want it to be a little bit of a, in particular this first video anyway, a how-to, not for how you should start a save similar to my own, but just showing you how I would go about managing a team from Tier 10, the lower echelons of English Football League. So I've decided to take on a team who are fairly local to myself. So I am, as you've seen from the intro, the new manager of Sandbach United. As we go through the save, it may become a journeyman save. You can never predict what's going to happen from one game to the next, and you know, we may end up getting sacked, and so it'd be a pretty disappointing way to go. But then it would instantly become a journeyman save. But initially, we'd look at taking a team from the very lower regions of English football into the English football leagues, and hopefully have some fun along the way. But particularly for such a low level, I'd like to go through a few things that we're going to have to deal with as we start the game. So if we took a quick look at our squad, as you can see, we've got a couple of potentially good players. James Carter. For this level, sort of anything above 5 is usually a bit of a head start really at such a low level. So when you get pace, if we could get someone sort of like 11, 12, 13, 14, even pushing 15 pace, you know, they're going to be rapid for this division. There's a lot of ones with this player, but as you can see already, he is wanted, and wanted by a lot of clubs apparently too. And this is going to be the biggest issue you have with any team that you manage at this level, is generally you have him on a contract. If I go to this guy's contract, okay, his contract is not applicable because we basically pay on appearance fees only. And basically all of the players at this level are going to be on those kind of contracts. So it's really difficult to keep hold of them because bigger clubs come in and straight away they're gone. So you're going to find that even in the first season, you'll see 30, maybe 40 players used over the course of the season. And it's not because we've got a big squad, it's because players are constantly moving in and out. Now, if we go back to the overview of the squad, you can see that we haven't got many players who are of a high quality in terms of star rating, and so the first thing we're going to be doing over the course of the close season is we're going to try and get it that by the start of the season we're looking at maybe 12 or 13 players, maybe 15 players who are on the 4 to 5 star ability for this level. Obviously we're going off our assistant manager's reports, which he has, I believe, a 4 for judging players' ability. So we're not going to take everything as gospel from what he says, but at the same time, it is going to be a general guide for us to look at that. The second thing that I wanted to go through, because it's the most important thing that we can do in a save like this, as I said, we're not going to have the same team all the way through, but what I do want to do is try and use the same tactic as best as I can. Now, if you were managing a big team like Manchester United, or maybe even coming down into the lower leagues, League 2, the top of the non-league spectrum maybe, you would look to build your team, build your tactic around your team. But we're not going to do that in this league because realistically, a lot of the tactics which involve a lot of instructions are going to confuse players of the lowest quality that you can get. So we're actually going to create our own tactic, and we're going to stick to the basic 4-4-2. I simply think that this is the best formation to use in the lower leagues, right the way up maybe to as far as the Championship. 4-4-2 is usually what I'm going to look to use for them, and we'll try and keep quite simple positions too. Now, the exact roles will certainly change throughout the season depending on who we've got, but my one target that I will have is to have a deep line playmaker, and there's a reason for this, is that this deep line playmaker is hopefully going to find the time and space to be able to spread the ball straight over the top of defences that are pushing out, so that the players can up front can run onto it. Also spraying the ball out to the wings. Hopefully then wingers then will get the space and the time to cross the ball in to the deep line forward or the advanced forward or whatever roles we have depending on the players we've got. Centre backs, we will probably use full backs as we come across a couple of really good wing backs, just because a flat back four at this level can generally be quite effective. So what we will do is we will, as you can see, we're starting a tactic from a clean slate. We're going to build it. It will change over the course of the season. I'll try and keep you in the know of any changes that I've made. If we find that we've developed a really strong team, we will probably move the mentality up to positive. But generally we'll stay unbalanced. If we're playing a really good team or a higher league team in a cup, we may go we may drop down to defensive. So we're going to keep it on balance for a start. And if you look at this, I like to play with quite a wide formation. I know it sometimes gives space in the midfield for other teams to break through. Our passing directness will be direct at a higher tempo. We will look to try and counter, and we will try and pass into space as well, because I want my forwards and wingers running onto the ball. I won't tick any of these yet. We may find that we end up doing run at defence, or maybe even dribble less, depending on the players we've got, of course. And if we come against a team who is playing a really narrow formation, then we will look at playing down the wings, but as an initial, I'm not going to put any of that into the tactic initially. That may be something that changes on a game-to-game basis. So in possession, we're just going to be slightly more direct, pass into space, higher tempo, wide in attack. Now in transition, most people do counter-press, but I'm going to suggest that we do regroup, because what I want is men behind the ball just trying to stop any attacks that are coming. So we want to be on the counter because we're using direct passing anyway. So, and if a goalkeeper gets the ball, I want him to distribute quickly, get the ball out, but I'm not going to specify yet how he does that, because the chances are that all of those attributes are not going to be great anyway. So we'll give the goalkeeper the freedom of choice, whether he's going to roll it out, throw it out, kick it out, or whack it right down the far end of the pitch. So, out of possession, we're going to keep a standard line on both for now. If we find we have a particularly good defence, I may push it up a little bit. If we go more positive, I will push it up a little bit. And if we're struggling to control the midfield, I may pull back the forward line. But generally, we're going to keep it the same. Defensive width, I'll keep the same. And we'll use tighter... We're not going to use tighter marking now, but we may, if we find we're conceding a lot of goals, that's when we'll start tinkering around with this. But as it stands, I'm not going to leave any specific instructions. So that's our initial tactic. We've kept it nice and simple, literally only a few instructions, and most of them are based around what we do with the ball, so getting the ball up as quickly as possible. So hopefully we'll be able to find some new players. Now, I'll come back and show you some of the other stuff that we will do at this lower level, but I just wanted to quickly talk about how we're going to find players. So we've got a squad that we've got to fill, and no scouts to do it with. But actually, even though we don't have the scouts, and we will look to employ some scouts, obviously, but most of the players that I'm going to look to take on are going to come through. They will offer their services to me in the scouting briefing every week, and what we'll do is just simply all those that are not attached to a club in any way, shape or form, we'll offer them a trial, and out of those players we will find that we will come across some 4 or 5 star players, and hopefully by the start of the season, certainly within to the first month or so of the season, we will have a team full of 4 to 5 star rated players. But on top of that, we're going to need to keep finding them. We can't rest on our laurels, because some of these players, when they start playing well, will get poached by other teams. I have a few players in mind that I want to sign for the club that are seasoned players who eventually will begin to fill the staff roles that we have available for the coaches and the scouts and all of that. But those players are going to have a part to play in the first team before they do that. So we will see some players come to the side, and realistically, because of the short term contracts, you're going to notice that we're not going to just look for young players to bring through. That strategy will come as we get to the top end of the non-league pyramid. But what we're going to be looking for now is players who can fit the immediate, whether they're 50 years old or whether they're 12 years old. These players will come into our team and they will do the job that we need for the weeks that they're here, or the months that they're here, or the season that they're here. And like I say, some of those will be right at the end of their career, some of those will be right at the start of their career. But the hope is that we can create a team that will be capable of gaining a position in this, what is the Hallmark Security League Northwest Division 1 South. We have £140 to spend. I'll try not to spend it all at once, although my wages are more than double than that, so we're soon going to be in the red. We're going to have to arrange friendlies to try and counteract that. But as we do that, hopefully we can create a bit of finances that will help set us on our way. And if you want to know how I do that, normally what I would do is go to the schedule, arrange a friendly. At this lower level, you're probably going to look at under 23 teams. So if we go to choose other, and let's just select Manchester United as an example, we'll propose a friendly with the under 23 squad. Now this says that they're going to demand a fee of £5,000, and the income that we get should be round about £6,000. So we're talking about £1,000 there. So if we try to book it for the 10th of July, they may reject, and we have to rearrange for another date. But we could pick 2 or 3 of those if you want. I don't want to crowd the fixture list, so we'll leave it at that. What I'm going to do is just get us through all the meetings that we have to do. So obviously I'm going to have to meet the press. I'm going to have to search for some players. It's going to take me some time. I've shown you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to offer trials to players. And hopefully when we come back in August for the first game, you're going to see a completely different team. You're going to see hopefully a financial position that is reasonably stable. And we're going to have an idea of how the tactics working through the friendlies that we've played. So as soon as I've done that, I'll come back to you, but I'll see you shortly. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back. It seems like it's been a long time for me, but obviously it won't be as long for you guys. But the friendlies have gone okay. We've had a close defeat with Maltby Main. That was the first game, and realistically we'd only got a few players in on trial. And then again, the friendlies have got better and better. They're not really teams of any note to worry about it. Now, I have arranged a couple of money spinning friendlies for midweek fixtures and that, a little bit of a break. So we've got Manchester City under 23s and Aston Villa under 23s coming to visit. We're going to aim to get probably 2, maybe 3 Championship to Premier League under 23 sides per month throughout the season, just to try and keep our heads above water with the finances. Sandbach and Osage are just a few miles down the road from each other, so we've got a local derby on the very first game as the manager of Sandbach United. So I never have an idea what to say in the very first game, so I'm going to let the assistant do the talking. We'll get straight into the game so that you guys have had opportunity. This is obviously a longer video than we would normally do, but we'll get the game in there just so that you can see how we do or don't play. And it's not been the greatest start. We have a real issue with our defence, and so I'm not surprised that the first goal has come from a corner very early on in the game. We are predicted to finish in the relegation area, so you know we can't expect everything to happen in the first week. I'm just hopeful that some of our granddads can put in a performance and get Kyle Metz running onto that ball, because that is realistically what we got to hope for. So we're just going to demand more, because the game is ticking along and nothing seems to be happening, and when you're losing, that is not a good thing. So the corner swept in. Campana with the goal, great finish. So don't know how much Campana's going to feature in this team over the course of the season, but that's a great start for him. Shuka with the corner. It was headed out by Farke. Had a lovely little volley, good control on it, and we'll take that. Very nice. And the only player in our team who seems to be showing any kind of ability has picked up an injury. Campana, you've had a great game. Very sad that we have to get rid of you, so we'll move Shuka over onto the wing where he likes to play. And McManaman, is there a role that you prefer a little bit more? So let's go central midfielder, automatic. And that's going to have to be the change. So not even into half time, and the best player that we've had over the course of the day has got off injured. It's not a great start, but at least we had a replacement in that position for him. So at half time, 1-1. We've got to suggest that we can still win this and give him a bit of a boost. So I think we will adjust the tactics ever so slightly. I think what we'll do is just be a little bit more positive. We are the home side. Let's just see what difference that makes. So early in the second half, as in the first half, we've got a set piece coming against us, and you could have predicted it. I was about to say it, but they were too quick for me. Dove has scored a good free kick, in fairness. So once again, we're up against it for the second half. We've lost the one player that was making a difference for us. We will make another angry shout to them just to try and get them G'd up and achieving something for us. It's Carter. Has he got the long ball? He's still coming out of it, and he's found Ray. Ray in a great position and a great goal. Sean Ray. I had a good feeling about Sean Ray when we signed him. He's not too old. He's certainly pushing the early 30s, but I think there's still a season or two in Sean Ray, and because of his age, I don't think he'll be too much in demand either. So he could prove to be the mainstay of the attack until we get to the stage where we're bringing through some youngsters, or we get in some decent loan players. I think ultimately that's my target, to find some loan players now, just to help reduce the match fees and stuff. But certainly we need to press on with the central defence. That is the key area at the moment, as Shuka comes with the ball. Good cross. Nash. Metz on the turn. Can't turn. So Bolden. Great ball to Gugat. And good save by Finch. So time's beginning to tick away now. Now some of you may think this is a negative move, but actually, unless they score from this move, I just want to go cautious. Taking a point from my first game is not too bad. So time is ticking away. Very concerned about another set piece. Blundell. Oh, Metz has got space. He's played it to Ray. Ray on the break now. Can he finish? He can, and it's 3-2. Nobody expected us to win that. It was a game that looked like it was gone, and then with 2 goals from Sean Ray, we have completely turned it around. And what a start to the save. He's so cool at those finishes as well. So there we go, we have won, and that was a fantastic result. A game that was really looking like it was gone. It's against a local rival, and you know, I'm really happy. Couldn't be more pleased with that. So what I'll do is I'll play a few games so we can get a feel of how the season is going. Whether we'll get the same kind of response from the players every game. You know, that was a difficult game to play, I have to admit, but we could still do something this season if some of the transfers start going right. Transfers have been very frustrating at the early part of this save, but we've got to keep pressing on. We've got to find some central defenders. But once we've done that, I believe that this could be a team that pushes even for promotion in the first season. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've beaten Osage. We've got a difficult period now because there's a lot of games to play in a short period of time, and we haven't got the squad to rotate very much. So everything's all dependent on us pressing on with signing players. So when you come back, expect to see a much changed team. Hopefully we'll see us sitting pretty somewhere near the top of the league. But I just want to say thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can continue to follow Sandbach United as they look to press on for glory. I'm Doug Outman, and I'll see you again soon.